Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Learners Podcast. Today is the seventh session of the Islamic Economics and Finance. With me today, the speaker is Dr. Tijjani Muhammad from Nigeria. So, Dr. Tijjani, Assalamu alaikum. Are you there, sir?
Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for joining us today. Today is the seventh session, which is second to the last session. Today is the to Bitcoin, and also last session to be also discussed. But we are having the final session, which will be open for any kind of question related to Islamic finance or Islamic banking and finance or Islamic finance or Islamic economics. All questions are welcome. Prof, can you see my screen?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Continue, please.
Okay. Okay, our today's discussion will focus on banking and Bitcoin. Initially, the reason why we started discussing on issue related to related to Bitcoin is also indirectly is related to the issue of we are referring to financial institutions intermediary. So expected area to be covered today, which what we are expected to discuss much on is normal banking, how normal banking are they operating, and how Bitcoin wants it to take over their opportunity or privilege in terms of making transaction or transferring from one party to another. Number two, we have to look at the Bitcoin ways of transaction. We have to look at the blockchain arrangement, timestamp, proof of work and incentives, reclaiming disk space, simplifying payment verification and privacy. These are the things we are expected to cover and to understand it at the end of the program. Before we move deep down, I think we have already talked about the scholars' view and what are they saying about the Bitcoin. So, but today we are going to give out the picture entirely, how financial institution works and how also Bitcoin works. So let's discuss first of all the reason for Bitcoin invention. If you may recall, in our previous discussion, a lot has been discussed about what led to Bitcoin invention by Satoshi Nakamoto. Amongst the reason that is pushed or moved the inventor to invent the Bitcoin, first we have issue of financial crisis. When we talk about the financial crisis, it's known to us that in 1997, the financial crisis happens, or 96, 97 happens in Asia. Why people, the crisis started in that direction and people are not happy with it. So from there, the regulators issue a Basel committee work where they developed a Basel III. Then before we are using Basel I and II, and they enhanced it to Basel III. So the Basel III is talking about the financial requirements and other capital requirements. So the Basel III is pushing how people should maintain their money into, how financial institution will maintain people's savings in that direction. So financial crisis in 1997 happens, and later on repeated itself in 2007. So 2005 started, but up to the 2007. So what happened is the financial crisis took place in 1997 and 2007. So if you are to calculate it very well, you understand that the difference between the first part of it and the second is about 10 years. The financial institution do not manage the system up to 10 years. Mama say, please, can you mute your mic?
Okay, sir.
So the financial crisis only lasted, that is the solution for that financial crisis lasted only for what? for 10 years. So the Basel II and Basel III again was developed. Sorry, then before Basel I and Basel II, now we are in Basel III. So, but it's not up to now sufficient enough to address people's needs. Number two, we're having something called information asymmetry. Information asymmetry is moral hazard, where financial institutions are hiding a lot of informations. If, for instance, you wanted to make a transaction from a bank A to bank B, bank A to bank B, you are just to send your money blindly without seeing the activities of what exactly in around the money. But the financial institution will take care of that hiddenly without giving people's opportunity or privilege to see the transparent way of making transaction. This is the second thing. They says there is an information asymmetry, which is moral hazard. They call it in another way, moral hazard. That is hiding information, not try to give out information to customers or shareholders to understand what exactly happening in the financial institution. Number three, they wanted to eliminate the intermediation of financial institution in transaction. So there are three significant issues. There are not only, but three significant things. Eliminating intermediation of financial institution in transaction. For instance, like I've said it earlier, I wanted to transfer my money from A to B. So initially, when we look at the financial institution, what financial institutions are doing is they will just take out the money and send it to second person. So it may delay. At times, it may reverse back to the initial initiator. So because of that, they says no, and also it's costly. So because of that, they says they wanted to remove the power of intermediation of financial institution. When we say financial institution, please, we are referring to banks. So they wanted to remove that power from them so that if I want to make a transaction straightforward from party A to party B, will go directly to him without any intermediary or intermediator or mediator. Let's look at how normal banking system works. For instance, I have 50 US dollars in my account. We can see it. And the bank, I have a bank. So the bank I'm working with them, there is a 50 US dollars in my account. So as the owner, I wanted to make a transfer to party A or party B or party C. So initially, if all of them wanted 10 US dollars from me, so when I make a transaction, I can make that transaction to them 10, and I have the remaining 20 US dollars in my account. But if, for instance, I wanted to send this money to them, but all of them are in need of 50 US dollar. All of them are in need, each of them are in need of 50 US dollar. So I cannot send the money to them all while all of them are required, I'm asking for 50 US dollar. Because of what? Because I may have an insufficient balance, because the money I'm having it when I make a transfer to one person, the money has what? Finished. So I have no other money to make another transaction. But if it happens to be 10 US dollars, I can have that money 10, I can distribute 10 US dollars to them, and 20 US dollars may remain in my account. Please, I wanted us to understand this thing very well, because this is where the issue is. By having such thought that you have to transfer the money to 3 individuals, if, for instance, all of them are in need of 50 US dollars, you transfer to party A 50, you transfer to party B 50, you transfer to party C 60. It means you have to go and look for another 100 US dollar. If not, when you make a transfer to party A, when you are trying to make it to party B, the bank will alert you that you are having insufficient account. So that one we call prevention in double spending. You cannot double spend your money. You cannot. Banks suddenly are in charge to alert you that what you are having in your account alone is only $50. So that $50, you have no right to transfer it to 3 individuals who are in need of $50. But if they are needed for, so if they need for something below that amount, it will be possible, and also it's acceptable. You can make that transfer to them. But if happens to be each and individual is in need of $50, you cannot do that. Let's see the example. So you can see now you have a possession initially of $50. When you make a transaction to one individual group, part C, you have no anything in possession. You have nothing in possession. It means you have 0 accounts in the bank. So if the bank is operating based on this, it means they are preventing double spending. You cannot double spend. And second thing, after accepting by the bank, you can see how the money goes to bank first before down to group C. So banks accepted it first and moved it to the second party, which is party C. So what Bitcoin wanted to eliminate is the work of this bank, the work of financial institution as a mediator, as an entity that mediates between group A or somebody that is sending the money and the one that is receiving. I hope this slide is understood. Let's see how the Bitcoin works. This is the Bitcoin we are having. The ways of transaction based on Bitcoin, the individual that has a Bitcoin, so this is the Bitcoin network. Instead of them moving from one party to another party, here Bitcoin only has a network. You can see dots. All these dots are computers, are peoples, are individuals that maybe is requesting money or something else you wanted to make transfer to them. So the Bitcoin is in your domain. You wanted to make transfer to party 1, party 2, party 3, party 4, all together, and you are having only a single Bitcoin. So you cannot, in Bitcoin also, according to them, you cannot make this Bitcoin to spend them in all these kind of individuals. It's not possible unless you have many Bitcoin in your wallet. But if Bitcoin happens to be one, you are only to select an individual or one entity to send that amount of money to them, but it's not to send the one Bitcoin to all of them. Because if it happens that you can send this Bitcoin to all of them, it means you are double spending. You are double spending. If you are double spending, it means the Bitcoin is not a currency that is what? That is reliable, that is somebody that would trust it. Let's see how that works. So you can send this to that, you can take it again. It's not possible. If you send it to if you send it to party 1, it means will remain to him alone. But if you decided to send it to all of them, it will not stand there. It will go back to you because the Bitcoin, the only one Bitcoin cannot serve the entire world population that are in need of money from you. Please, I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. So what exactly we want to say it here, the system that is being worked, the system that is being used by Bitcoin is also having the same thought with the financial institution. But by saying that I will send my money directly, we go through those people without intermediation, because definitely since you're them minus before they transact or they send the money to another individual, as we are going to see it. But please, let's understand this kind of movement. Okay, this is the blockchain arrangements, and how the Bitcoin are First of all, we have Bitcoin 1, we have 2, and we have 3. We have Bitcoin, or somebody make a transaction. The transaction number 1 would be stored, and number 2 also would be stored after number 1, and number 3 also would be stored after number 2, and continuously 1, 2, 3, 4 up to the end of Bitcoin. So this is the chain, this is the blockchain. When first individual make a transfer, the transfer first of all goes to the transfer being blocked in. Please, the participants that are joining should mute their mic, please. So the first block will be arranged, and the second block also arranged after the first, and the third one also, and fourth one. So this is how the blockchain arranged the Bitcoin, so that the history would be consistent, because when I make a transfer first and the second individual do make his transfer, mine will be first before his be second, if they are following the chain. Timestamp. When we look at the timestamp is they are telling you the exactly moment you make your transfer, you publish, network publish your own money, and when it's been accepted, widely published. So they are using hashtag. That hashtag is identifying the code of that particular note you sent. If you may recall, previously we said the coins are being recognized as a what? As a knot. So they send it, the blockchain will recognize the timestamp, that is the time and date that transaction is being published and also being saved. So after that, it will show when and how it will be arranged. That's why if you look at it down there, you see the hashtag. I use the hashtag, it will indicate date and time, and Bitcoin is being arranged, is being expected to be arranged in every 10 minutes, maximum. Maximum 10 minutes, you see network population, and also people are making transactions. Okay, this is where I wanted us to come to. Proof of work and incentive. Bitcoin has something called proof of work and incentive. What does that mean by proof of work? Definitely, we talk about miners. There are some people who are mining, who are monitoring the activities of Bitcoin. They are not people per se, but are computers. Computers that has a mathematical problem solution, mathematical application being installed on the computer activities of the computers, but it's not the one using it. He just configure and leave it like that. So the computer to manipulate or also to book any note that will be advertised by a network. So after advertising, someone grabbed the notes and also processing and put it in a blockchain, he will be rewarded. The rewarded, we call it incentives. How that works, let's look at it. First of all, the first step to run the network are as follows. Number one, new transactions are broadcast to all nodes. Like I've told you previously, that transaction is being broadcast by the network. That is, for instance, I wanted to send a Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin to my brother. So when I send it, it means it has a network. The network will accept that and broadcast to miners. Miners are the people that are waiting for any transaction that will come on. So each node collects new transaction into blocks. So what are they using it? When they accepted it, they will verify, is it a valid transaction? Is it not somebody that is trying to hack the system? Yes, it's a valid transaction. So they will try to put it in a blockchain and close it. So when they try to put that in a blockchain, they will also be rewarded. Like I've told you previously, it's not individual that is doing it. It's what? It's computer that is doing it, because there is an application software that is being installed on, is solving the mathematical puzzles. That is, when the network broadcasts it, it accepts it, verify it by individual, and also put it in a blockchain. So for somebody that got that, the somebody that got that, which is blockchain, the person has a reward. So each node work on findings a difficult proof work of its block. When a node finds a proof work, it broadcasts the block to all nodes. So after accepting it, after somebody accepted that, he verify it and send it to blockchain, it means he will be rewarded by the blockchain, by the Bitcoin. But how that works, initially when somebody broadcasts the transfer, he wanted to make a transfer to someone, all participants will receive the note that somebody wanted to what? To make transfer. We can see this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is different individuals that we call them miners. So they are being represented by a computer. Sorry. So after broadcasting, this is what the network will broadcast it. So after broadcasting it, these miners will be notified that, yes, somebody wants to make a transfer. So now they will start verifying it. And when they try to make a verification, only one person will be succeeded. So the moment that your computer is more faster, the way you can grab the notes and also make use of notes. So when, for instance, number 2, individual 2 got that one not right, it will also send notification for 1 and 2 individuals and say that, please, you should leave this Bitcoin because it's been verified by number 2. So they will put verified, verified. So the Bitcoin is valid. So from there, this person, number 2, will get what? Incentives. So this miner opportune to secure this because his what? His network is faster and he has a computer. That computer make this kind of things. So now he will be rewarded by some Bitcoin, so which is called incentive. So you can see how these people, so miners are being, to me, I categorize, even though that the miners are computers puzzles, mathematical puzzles that are being used to solve the issue, but they are also intermediates because the transfer cannot direct to the individual without having somebody that will control. They verify it and send it. I'm trying to give my own perception about what Bitcoin are saying. So miners here, they use that and they block they send the Bitcoin to blockchain. So they also have something called reclaiming disk space. So after all those things, they used to remove the old spendings, the old transactions, because they wanted to make their free disks, they wanted to make their disks to have a space so that the old block can be compacted by stopping of the branches of the tree. So when we say tree, we are referring to how the blockchains are being put together. Blockchain have been put the nodes together, so we call it this thing as a blockchain tree. So that will be free of the database of that particular distinct transaction. So the transaction will be free from that. All transactions that are no need of them will also be discarded to save the disk space and also facilitate without breaking the block hash. You know, the block hash, the hashtag is the one defining the kind of transaction. So the block hash are still there, but the old transaction and the information will be moved to other space, not the initial database of blockchain. So simplify payment verification. So definitely the processes, it seems to be a little bit complicated, when more especially if you look at how are they doing it. So, but the proof of work will be becoming the party A to party B. Did the party A is trying to make a double spend, or is only one spending? It means the existing Bitcoin that is having, he wanted to make transfer to another individual. So this is how that proof of work works, and also prevent double spending, and also make the system to see as a trusted system as they claimed. I have an also to make it. Initially, when you make a transaction, you may think that the first transaction is not been backed. You can see, for instance, if you try to make a, like I've told you initially, Bitcoin is about the digital file. It's not a physical coin. It's a digital file. So the digital file, when you make transactions, is this our beginning in our first discussion, is disappearing. It makes it more easier. It makes it very simple to make use of it. So you can have access to it again when you have already spent it. But there are frauds people that attackers or hackers that wanted to hack. For instance, when somebody broadcast, because it's in a public domain, it has something called public key and private key. When network broadcasts the Bitcoin, initially what will happen is people will start talking about how to process the Bitcoin, or the miners start looking at it. So maybe somebody can trap the system as a hacker wanted to hack that kind of transaction. So what will happen? Initially, when the hacker delays, the hacker delays little bit, so another person would take over the Bitcoin. So instead of the hacker is the A and the normal miner is the B. So when the hacker delays wanted to hack this Bitcoin, trying to hack it, the Bitcoin group B would take over the Bitcoin and a public domain. After 10 minutes, you have seen another Bitcoin back miner B. The A is referring to someone that is not trustworthy. So we have also privacy. The traditional banking mode the necessary to announce all transactions publicly also preclude these methods. By breaking the flow of information in another place, by keeping public key anonymous issue private, so they can access it. But the private key is belong to someone that is sending the request and the one that is trying to accept the request from the sender. So in this kind of scenario, the public can see the someone that is sending the amount. You know, like I've told you in our beginning, that is a financial institution, they cannot transfer the way that they are sending the money, only that somebody will receive the alert that have gotten the money from so person. But under Bitcoin, as somebody that is in a public domain can see that party A is making transaction to party B in a network, but you do not know exactly who is sending money to who. You cannot see that kind of thing. You cannot understand who are the people making transaction. But with the information linking the transaction to anyone, this is similar to the level of information released by stock exchange, where the time and size of individual trades the tape. So you can see this one is a common, as they are indicating that in a normal conventional stock market, that is in a stock market, you can see the transaction are moving, but you can see the numbers, but you don't know actually who is doing who and who is earning who. So with that, they understand that this is how Bitcoin works. I think that one is make a little big sense to us, but this is how, like I've shows you previously, this is how the Bitcoin works. First one, the blockchain works with Bitcoin. The party A wanted to send a Bitcoin to party B, as you can see it here. So it it will be they want to spend money to party B, it will send to public network, the network, so that the network will see something like a node. It means it's alerting the miners that there is a transaction on ground, which is number 2. So the transaction, the network received this and start processing, start verifying. So between those networks that we are seeing it alerting, any of this network that receive or that got the nodes right, it will take possession of it and put it in a blockchain. So after one of them has verified this, number 4, you can see they put the sign of good. It means the nodes are being verified. So someone has already grabbed it. So number 5, you can see they would take it from this and what? Place it on this. That is, they are mounting it on already blockchain. It means they have sent the money to the owner or the Bitcoin to the person that is waiting for. So this is number 6, which is A and B. So the transfer from A party is already goes to the B party. So this is how blockchain, how Bitcoin is all about. I tried to summarize it the way that all of us will understand it. And also because we have already talked about, we have highlighted even this kind of picture in previous sessions, and we have talked much on the Bitcoin, but now we are just trying to talk about the fundamental keys, something like timestamp, something like double spending, something like incentive minus, how minus works, and also how that differed with the conventional institution, that is the financial institution, normal banking sector admin works. This is how Bitcoin is invented, and we have talked about the Bitcoin in a series of this thing and how I've been much inflated. We cannot say that inflated, but it's been high in terms of cost, or in terms of what do you call it? In terms of much as they say they are managing inflation from their side. So I hope you find this one useful. And I don't know, maybe if we are having questions, we are having issues related to it, we can discuss it after maybe 5 minutes, Prof, right?
Yeah, thank you
after
very much.
5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Tijjani,
Yes.
for your presentation. It was very knowledgeable for
Thank
all
you,
of us
Valis.
today. So definitely just give me a 5 minutes break, and then after that we will join again. So that meanwhile, the participants can compile their notes so that if they have any questions, they may ask in the second session. Okay. So I'm going to close
just
this
5 minutes, please. We'll be back after 5 minutes.
Inshallah. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Tijjani, Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam, Prof. Thank you.
Yes, please, sir, carry on, sir.
Over to you. Back.
Yes. Yeah, for me, Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, for me, I think I've already exhausted all my questions because this Bitcoin topic, it took about what 3 weeks or something like this. So for me, it's a little bit clear.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's nice. That's what I was expecting from you. But at least we have some people that are missing some classes. I mean, I would agree with you since you have been with us for this thing. But there are some which maybe do not have such privilege of asking questions when we are on board. But I think this is the right time for them to ask questions if there are any. Maybe if there are any clarification, maybe something that is hidden, that is not defined. We cannot say that we have covered everything related to it, but at least if somebody raise any kind of question, may attract our attention and also may bring something that is missing in the entire session. Okay, please, can you unmute yourself, Mohammed?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good morning to you, Prof, and our great Dr. Tijjani.
Thank you so much. No, thank you so much. Morning to you. Yes, we are listening.
My question is on our that's the section of our batch 2. Is it remain for us how many weeks?
We have done with the weeks. Definitely, the weeks have. I think we have no longer any class related to the course this time around. This is the final. Today is the final presentation. We have next week. Next week, yes. So we. Okay, we have only
Dr.
next
Tijjani,
week. The next week.
Dr. Tijjani, let me answer
Yes.
this. Let me answer this. This is
Okay.
the last. This is the last part of the training session today. In the next week, we are going to,
Yes.
you can say, a kind of a question answer session in which we can the participants may ask any question related to all the sessions that we have conducted here regarding those. So they may ask any question. The next lecture is going to be a question answer session. All right, and might be we take some comprehensive quiz, and that depends on the trainer, Dr. Tijjani, if he is willing to do that. Okay, and after that we need one more session for the certificates, or might be we can do this activity in the next coming session.
Thank you, sir. It's understood.
Okay,
Yeah, I think the timing is okay. If you can get next week so that we can have our questions and observations before next week. So yeah, it's okay for me.
Another thing is, one more thing is that students, the participants can also send the questions to the Dr. Tijjani before the session, so that Dr. Tijjani will be well prepared for your questions in the session as well.
Okay.
So, okay, yes, Yusuf. Yes, Yusuf, please ask question. Side, you may ask, please.
Okay, sir. Good morning, all of you, my great lecturers.
Good afternoon.
Hey,
on my side, it is afternoon.
Okay, on my side it's morning. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. As we have little about cryptocurrency, can this allow us to place our orders?
No, I think for the person that is coming on board today should understand should understand it in a negative way of it. That's why we have been commending, or we have been recommending to people to go back to our previous video and watch. We are building on what we have exactly talked about previously. So currently now you cannot judge with this. Now we have shown how cryptocurrency is working based on what people are perceiving. So if you wanted to understand the sales and also the contribution of scholars based on this, you have to go to our previous videos from last week video and the 3 videos or 4 videos previously, and check on what we have discussed about Bitcoin. But you cannot have this video alone and make a decision on it, because we have started the majority of scholars, a lot of scholars, I will not say the majority of them, but a lot of scholars, I think they are in view that the cryptocurrency is not allowed, because it's all about gambling and speculation. So I don't know, actually, if you go back and watch the previous video, it will give you a room to make a decision. You can make a decision, are you to go there or not to do that? But you cannot just judge the video with what we have just said. Today is just a recap of what we have discussed for the previous 3 to 4 weeks back.
Okay, sir. So second,
so
I have
you
second
go back
question.
there and check.
Yes,
Okay,
please. Yes, please.
I have second question.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead and ask question. Go ahead and
Okay.
ask your question.
Okay, the second question is, I need more explanation about peer-to-peer transaction.
Okay, when we say peer-to-peer, initially the financial institution are in the sense that financial institution, they become an intermediary. Intermediary, when we say intermediary, we are referring to somebody. For instance, if you are sending someone to your friend, that person at the middle point is being called intermediate. He mediates between you and the person you are sending him to. So now if you are making a transaction in a financial institution, you wanted to transfer a money from you to your colleague, from you to your brother abroad or elsewhere. So how are you going to do that? You have to go to financial institution, which we call bank, for instance. You make a transfer from the bank to your brother. So the bank need to verify your own transaction before sending it to second party, which is your brother. So being bank at the middle of this transaction, we call them mediators. We call them intermediary. It means they are mediating between the first party to second party before the second party receives his cash. But go back to the issue of peer-to-peer. According to Bitcoin, they says the peer-to-peer system is to remove this intermediating banking sector, that is the financial institution, to remove it from the middle point, let the network works together and send the money to you instead of you receiving from financial institution. Are you getting me? Yeah. So it means in this point, the financial institution is not in the picture of what exactly is being required of you to do before your brother receives the money. Now it's an application being installed on a computer can solve the mathematical puzzles, that is the mathematical issues there, and send the money to your brother. That is where the issue of intermediary moved out, because the Bitcoin Satoshi Nakamoto stated that the reason why that one is being eliminated because they are hiding information. It's not transparent. I hope I answered your question.
Another answer is if you see from the technical point of view, if you see this internet is also a peer-to-peer, okay, communication. So it's similar. It is similar to that.
Mm.
One node is directly communicating with another node. That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Tijjani, and all the participants for coming over. So this was a very informative session. So next session is going to be inshallah on Saturday. On Sunday. It's going to be the last session for this training. I'm going to close the session.